that's everything. As always, even when I think I finally got it all figured out. The chair. Always have to readjust my model in the chair. This is an eternal struggle, folks. Every week, without fail. You can put it on your bingo sheet. Tune your watch to it. Oh, hey, Hero Rose is adjusting in her chair. She's making sure that her model is in place. It must be what is it, 4 o'clock on the Eastern Seaboard? She's fiddling around with her mic. And tack on another minute for that. Anyway, two things. One, if you're in Canada, then it's Happy Thanksgiving. If you're in the United States, Los Estados Unidos, that is Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. And today, we're going to be doing some more messing around. We're going to be doing some more hangout stuff. I'm just not in a position to, like, do any sort of hard brewing right now, although I have been messing around with some new decks and some concepts ideas. Also, I'm going back and updating some stuff, which we'll be seeing today. I actually forgot to finish this up. I'm just updating Hilda, which is an old deck that I used to that I made when Wilds of Eldraine came out. I was really excited for Hilda. I love Elsa and the Ice Queen mythos. I love the original Hans Christian Andersen story. I actually have the book that has it in it. I've listened to the audiobook a couple of times, a couple different variations. So I really, really dug Hilda, but then I played her and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then just never picked it up again. So now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of updating some things. I took out some of the gimmick cards, the cards that kind of play into Hilda's gimmick, but aren't really that great on their own. And we're just gonna see if we get some other stuff in. I'd like to be able to get Delirium going, so that way Boopgeist has an easier time. Like, look at it. Look at the little guy. Just a little guy. So great. Enchantment creatures, pretty great. Split up, it actually goes pretty great in this deck. Tap all their creatures, then blow them up. They weren't tapped already. Identified hovers. That's removed. Got trapped in this that has. But I'd like to get an enchantment creature, perhaps some sort of a glimmer. Wait, what is this? It's a 5-drop. Elemental Scream is actually pretty good tech. Might just put that in there. Creature spells we have Invoke, and then also untaps creatures. There's mana value 3 or less. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Skinner. I'm definitely in fear of imposters in a couple of the budget decks. I think it's doing an A-okay job. What else we got? Meat Locker. Tap up to one target creature and put 2 stun counters on it. When you unlock this, draw 3, ditch 2. That's not bad. Inquisitive Glimmer. Yeah, we already put the mushroom in there. Restricted Office is a card that I'm gonna be pretty high on my crafting list from this set. Not too many cards left from this that I need, but it helps. It's like that and the actual Enchantress. Entity Tracker. Entity Tracker's been everywhere. Everywhere that enchantments are sold. Don't have to go. Honestly, I feel like this is fine. Just as a way to, like, get the deck right. Still playing Law of Rune Enforcer. Still playing Elite Arrestor. Rune Enforcer is probably like Narcolepsy Goated. Signet. We could replace the Cold Steel Heart, but we want the snow mana for the the Icebind Pillar. Like, just repeatable effects like this are the kind of tap effects I think Hilda wants, not the one and dones. Buffership is pretty cool. Lockdown, cool. We still have Apparition, still have Moon Mist. Right in to help protect Hilda. Flare. Went ahead and put in 4 Fairy. I've had 4 Fairy for a while because I think I got him in one of the flashback decks, and I just don't put him in enough of my blue-white decks, even though he's absurd. Like, I constantly undervalue this card, and then I have it played against me, and I'm like, oh my god, this card is obnoxious, I hate it. Good ramp. One. I'm only at that just to get like one cheap counter spell in. We're gonna be playing a decent amount of Mana Tithe today, surprisingly. Pretty high up on both Spell Pierce and Cast and some. So essentially what I have currently for our playing pleasure today while we just hang out is I have 4 different blue-white decks. Try and get a feel for like what iteration of blue-white I like best. There's just something about the slow plotting blue-white that I'm still averse to. I'm going to have to give that a try at some point since my goal is to get out of my comfort zone. But I figure that these might give me a bit of a better experience. So like we've got the soldier deck here. But this really is just more like white. Mono white with counter spells. Also got Geist and then Birds. Birds are going to be pretty fun to play after tomorrow when we get more bird support. Because they're releasing the Glimmers that happen to be the Bloomburrow creature types, which is honestly, I like that. I like the idea of alchemy cards having more direct references to the set that came before them, as kind of like, here's a little more support for this set and also a little bit more support for that previous set, especially when the themes for that previous set are a little under supported on Arena itself. All right, Rhystic Study. What's a blue deck without Rhystic Study? Down the box. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Let's go ahead and jam a study to all these decks. There's no reason not to. It's just a really strong tempo card. Really draws us a decent amount of cards, and at the very least slows down the opponent long enough that we can get things set up. Split up, seal, pull. I'm not gonna pull out like any of the actual stick. Go to Body Mind and Fire and Ice are really good for evasion, but I think I pull out the Sword of the Body Mind specifically because there are so many Reanimator decks now. I think that's Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice. One of the best so far. I gotta tell you guys, I am like a little tired because I have not been handling my Inktober well lately. Yesterday I let myself wait until like literally the last minute because I tried to hyper focus on magic stuff instead. That was not great. I'm gonna have a shorter stream today, so I have a little bit more time to just like chill out, relax. Should probably make some time to play some Satisfactory. Just let the cat off the leash. Yeah, works actually. What would we cut for Asphalt is actually really important to this sort of deck, so that's fine. I like Hover Ship. The Apparition. Could theoretically cut the Valkmire, so now that we're focusing a little more on cards to actually protect. That could be fine. I like the Hilda is not boltable. That was one of my big criteria is when And look for like blue-white commanders that I did not want my blue-white commander to be boltable, and like, Hilda still fits that criteria. Yeah, let's go ahead and cut. Then I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for draw. I feel like in a super aggressive deck like Harbin, you don't really want to rely too much on Welcome to Decasia, Welcoming Vampire, Witty Announcement either, even though it does turn into an anthem. But Ristic Study kind of fills that niche very nicely because it is a card that you want to play after you deployed all your other guys. All your other dudes. I mean, like, there's women and non-binaries in here, but, like, you know. Sometimes you can't just use, you can't just refer to a collective as a bunch of guys. Especially if you're requesting dudes. Because you're severely outnumbered. I'm looking forward to playing this. I don't want to cut too much off the top end because this is supposed to be like the Wrath Insurance part of it. Probably wouldn't hurt to have a Selfless Spirit. Lavinia is kind of non-compatible with Evoking Solitude or... Wait, no. She's only opponent, right? Yeah, no, this is only opponents. What am I thinking of? Crazy. Painful, Bring the Ending, Flower. There's Anafenza, Valiant. Each of this, Catathalia. Okay, I think that's all. Except for, like, birds. Birds. But bird is already the word. Yeah, that's fine. Unless there were, like, some sort of, like, really sweet birds that came. They're still the split up. Is there anything that's, like, specifically a bird? No? Okay, not till tomorrow. We're sitting pretty good on gold, by the way. I know I've got the Spotify in the way, but currently we're sitting at like 2,200 gold. So we'll have plenty for alchemy. And then once alchemy's done, then we start saving up for the next set. So I think to start off with, let's go ahead and play Geist, because I think Geist is... cool. I know I can win with Geist, is basically what it is. Geist is cool in that you kind of have to get the good setup. If you get matched up against another blue deck, getting the underneath, getting the counter spell backup, that way you can resolve Geist is pretty great. We're going up against Golos. This deck never wants to catch anything fair, but we have Witness Protection and Fly. Start off with the farmland into Verge, which is the new one, which is the Cloud Sky Post. We've also got Staggering Insight plus Wrath for backup. Now the opponent could have a Wash Away here. The opponent does not have a Wash Away. Never mind. What is this? 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker, makes the giants cast less. Interesting choice. Go ahead, play the Geist. If they have like an Anger the Gods, well, I don't have any way to protect Geist anyway. Crystalline Giant, that could fuck. Especially if it's got Menace, it does not have Flying. Which is pretty great for us. I want to hold Witness Protection. We have Curse of Silence here. Let's go ahead and... yeah, we're going to have to play both. Play Fly. Play Staggering. Go Combat. Hit for 7. That's a third of their life total. Do we have the counter on target creature? This one makes skellies. Eventually, I feel like we want to go fast. Loses 2 unless they discard a card. Lose 2 unless they sack an artifact, creature, or land. You know what? Let's go Tomb of Annihilation. Let's get the aggro on. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and enchant them so they can't play Golos. Alright, so Giants cost 2 less. What kind of Giants would they be playing? Normally with Golos, they just want to turbo out Golos and get, like, World Tree out. Get any sort of the gods or predators going. That plan's pretty good for us. First line Giant gets flying, then I do have to Witness Protect it. Okay, so I'm going to Beanstalk Giant. I mean, I guess that's a Giant eventually. Alright, so that's blue. Wait, what? Oh, it only searches for a basic land. Okay, that's actually pretty bog. Alright, so this has Death Touch. You just go ahead, beat in. Each player loses 2 unless they discard a card. Let's go ahead and drop... Wow, Tomb of Annihilation actually ends up being the stronger option here. Because now they have to lose a card. Or they take 2. And on the next turn, it's lose 2 unless they sack an artifact, a creature, or a land. Or they lose something else. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't even consider Tomb of Annihilation because I've always been looking at the oubliette side. Where you have to discard a card, sack a creature, an artifact, and a land. Like, we can sacrifice the Angel. We can sacrifice... we don't have any artifacts in play. We can sacrifice a land, and that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, that's how most of the games with Geist tend to go. Either you get in under them, or you have a hard time catching up because you're just a little guy. But also, there's no way for them to interact. There are so few ways for decks to interact with Geist once he hits the board, kind of like Narset. Your only real options are to have sweepers, like... they just printed the 2-mana one. That was a reprint. That's really good for the format. There's also Anger the Gods, any sort of Sweltering Heat, stuff like that. Any neg-2 effects from Black are also really good. Fairy, Hero of Dominaria. We have the Mana Tithe. We have Boon. We don't have Counterspell Magic outside of Mana Tithe. The temporary lockdown means that we can take out some of the rocks. That's an Esper Sentinel. Let's see. I'm always grabbing something that's white. Flooded Strands, I think. This could lead to them getting to draw a card off of their Sentinel, depending on what they want to do. Curse of Silence on me. I can still play the temporary lockdown to help Geist out. So let's go ahead and crack our Flooded Strand. Because they can't Tails End us. Grab the farm. Grab the Flooded Plains. Flooded Delta always grabs an island. Oh, yeah, without question, we are absolutely going to go ahead and temporary lockdown. But now they can just sit back on counterspell support, which means that we have to Sink into stupor. Hold up temporary lockdown, perhaps. This is a tricky one. Because I can't just, like, temporary lockdown into this. Which means that they are just going to get a lot of stupid value off of me from Agent of Raffining constantly. Conjure a duplicate of the top card. So it's going to be nothing but enchantments. Or lands. No. And I lose the card forever. No red will run also. True. I need to take a better look at some of the Dustmorn support for some of these. I will sink into stupor, whatever they try and do. I'm going to take the risk here. Just so we can get more tap lanes out of the way. Alright, so... This is where I cry because I can temporary lockdown. They can play a 2-mana spell. Mana Tithe is not enough to get there. Meanwhile, they're just going to continue drawing cards off of Agent Raffining. I've got one more land if I play the Sink of the Stupor. Fortunately, I think I have to pass. Like, the Agent Raffining is just going to keep drawing him cards. Like, at this point, it doesn't matter if I don't have anything. Because, like, you know, if I lose the cards themselves, because that's basically the same as them being at the bottom of the deck. Non-land permanent opponent controls. Let's see if we can bounce the curse. I'll let him draw a card. And if I were them, I'd consider fighting over this, but they're not going to. Okay, they got Battle of Bywater. Okay. Honestly, I'm just gonna gun it because I'm not likely to actually be able to win this fight. Like, yeah, we're just not winning this fight. You guys get any new stuff? Not really. If you want to go like super Enchantress with like the core Skyclave and all that to try and like draw super cards, then sure. Aside from like Unable to Scream, which every blue deck got, there really isn't like a lot of stuff that guys got in the new one. See, what was I thinking? Take a look at some of the Geist stuff that we potentially have. You're going to be looking at like aura stuff. You could theoretically play Shelterbright Ghost, which does give Geist 1/0 and then lifelink. The War 2 doesn't mean anything because Geist already has hexproof. It's also an O-ring, which can be valuable. But then if anything happens to Geist, like, you know, he gets swept or anything like that, they just get back. Kind of same as Borrow Time. But I like Borrow Time a little bit better because it means that Geist doesn't have to be on the board already. So that's kind of about it. Not really anything on the equipment side either. Dissection Tools is way too expensive. So is Saw. I mean, I guess you could technically like use Saw to sacrifice the Angel to draw more cards. Hey Viv, thank you so much for stopping by. You have a wonderful day. But no, today we're just kind of playing a few different blue-white decks. I'm trying to figure out what flavor of blue-white I like and to get better acquainted with the tools of just playing straight up tempo or control. So I did update the Hilda deck. I've went and threw together a Harbin deck. Harbin, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy as much because I really, really, really wanted to make sure that my commanders weren't boltable. If I was going up against blue-white, what I probably should have considered doing was mulliganing to a hand that could actually fight over Geist. Because once Geist comes down, they just have a hard time actually getting through anything, save for like a board wipe. And at that point, I might want to consider something like a slip out the back. Especially for a Supreme Verdict. Let's see. Up against Tamio, there's a Razorgrass ambush, and we do get to go first. Fly is cool. Sword of Fire and Ice is also cool, but there's nothing here that can really deal with the quick turn 1 Tamio, so we're going to throw this back. Mana Tithe works. It is also really funny. Downside being that I can't Windswept Heath to Surveil for a land. I think I keep this anyway because of the Mana Tithe. And then if they don't cast Tamio, there we go for it. Ossification only enchants basic lands, which having the Field of Ruin makes rough. Starting on the Temple of Mystery is huge for us. So Temple of Mystery means that we do have the luxury of grabbing a Surveil land to try and dig for that extra basic, so Ossification can hit that as well. We'll probably end up waiting until turn 4 to play Geist. I should probably consider getting some more of the 2-mana rocks as well into the deck. So that way we just have backup mana. Yeah, we want to toss away the bypass. Iganjo is not the worst. We can don't make a sound. Hold up the Mana Tithe for later. I will don't make a sound now. That way we have Mana Tithe available to try and get Geist to fight over. Another tap land. That's great for us. And they're tapped out. So Geist comes down. They can go ahead and cast Tamio now. And then I can't really stop that. But if they do that, I get to play Sword of Fire and Ice. I also have the option of like just dropping a borrow time to set Tamio back again. No, they're gonna thirst. They're gonna actively thirst for discovery. That means that they're in a really bad spot. But also they're playing green. Are they trying to play Tamio as like an actual like blue-green deck? Because that's not really what you want to be doing with her, like at all. Ossifications. Go combat. Just punch in. Mana Tithe is still the only protection we have. So now that Sword of Fire Ice is down. If they're playing this as a true blue-green build, then they probably have a Naturalize. But then they're going to have to choose between that and Tamio. Because I don't think there's a Nature's Claim in the format. I would, if there was, I'd be playing it. Let's see. We have plans for days. We're gonna need to pop this Field of Ruins to get rid of the Reliquary Tower. But also specifically, so that way we have blue. No. Mana Tithe the Halfling. Shoot Tamio? No. Sword of Fire and Ice. They use the Halfling to block it? Yeah. I think we do this. So they can't just block Geist. Go ahead, swing in. Here's 8 damage. I am kind of banking on being able to potentially draw a card off of this. Otherwise, the smart play would have been to Field of Ruins, get the tower, and then Ossification. But then that opens me up to like a Dispel. Anchorage is not what I'm looking for. So they do get to untap with the Tamio. They could play a Brainstorm and transform the Tamio. Spark the Tamio, as it were. But her trigger doesn't actually trigger anything worth grabbing. Like, it's +1. Guys would get -1, -0. The angel comes down, but the angel didn't declare an attack, so the angel doesn't get the buff. That's still 7 + 2 from the sword is lethal. Moreover, they don't have anything that they can regrow aside from like the delighted halfling herself.
Knowledge is the shop. Use your words.
They could have a petty theft to try and bounce the angel token. I also just have Ossification here to help deal with Tamio. Oh, now that I have the snow covered plains, it's actually better. How do I want to do this? Probably hit the Islet. Do its second main phase. Yeah, I think let's go ahead and well, Alright, so first things first, let's go ahead, hit the Islet. Yep, they correctly float their mana. That's fine. You both get to grab some extra mana. I'm going to grab an island. Play a land, pass the turn. Or rather, go straight to combat. Pass the phase so that mana is either used or lose it. We get a chance to see exactly what they do. Alright, 2 attackers. All attackers, we'll just go for lethal because we don't really care about Tamio. They could go ahead and try and flash in Endurance? Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Cute. I don't have anything to stop that. That's fine. Now I do have the mana to go ahead and get Tamio away.
I'll find a quieter place to read.
Alright, so opponent had a fog. That's fine. This was not an instance where playing the fog is actually good, though. Like, it does buy them an extra turn. But typically, with something like Root Snare, you want... Interesting. Alright. So, we do get a chance to replay Geist. They probably have a Wash Away, which, if that's the case... What is this? 3 mana attack. Makes a map token. I'll just replay Geist. And then suit Geist up. So once again, they've managed to effectively time walk. Alright, that's Pock. I've got 2 things that can deal with Pock. Yeah, they're really trying to play this as like blue-green. And that's just not Tamio's strength. Like, it sounds wild, but that's just how it be. I could consider, like, turning this into a bird. And that's 6 damage just in the air. They're going to solve the equation. What are they going to grab for that can help them at 1 mana? Like an unsummon? I guess unsummon kind of works. Oh, yeah, they have Fading Hope to deal with the angel. Well, I have Counterspell anyway. But I've also got... Oh, right. I can't flight on the Geist. That's funny. Target creature to its own hand, mana value 3 or less, so they can return the anchorage. Okay. Then what if we would just borrow time with counterspell backup? And then what if we were to just go ahead and like punchies? I completely forgot that this would keep me from like being enchanted. Alright, so you know what? I'm gonna let them have it because it doesn't matter. Because I still could just like shoot him. Go onto the card. Yeah, I forgot that the sword is gonna like fight my enchantments. So that does get really awkward only because we don't have a way to like put the sword onto something else. But it does mean that we have a card slot that just opened up. Now, ideally, what I would like to do is replace that with the Wrath from Dustmourn. In that sense, guys did get something. Guys got something great. Guys got another one-sided Wrath. Oh, God. Oh, right. Gee. There we go. Restricted Office Lecture Hall. Destroy all creatures power 3 or greater. Other permanents you control have hexproof, so it gives the Angel hexproof. It gives all of Geist's auras hexproof. Even though that's like 7 mana, that's a lot. We're probably never actually getting to that. But still, a 4 mana Wrath is pretty pog. Geist just gets to play all of these really good one-sided Wrath effects. So, like, you've got Expel the Interlopers, you have Dusk, Battle by Bywater, Temporary Lockdown, Split Up, and Citywide Bust. I think those are all fantastic. I could see playing a Psych Rift. We could also play our own Fading Hope just to have a little bit more interaction. Could also play like Paladin's class. Trying to think. There's a ton of options that we can run. The issue just becomes like which one. I think I like Slip Out the Back actually. Which notably is not in Dustmourn. So we have to turn that filter off. They have like the Wrath Effect insurance against like Supreme Verdict. Another option though is go ahead and slip in the Vexing Bauble, but the Vexing Bauble's already in there. So I think if you're playing a... Are you running Caretaker's Talent? Caretaker's Talent is interesting because you do make the Angel every turn. It is also a rare that I don't have, so that doesn't quite work. I think Caretaker's Talent is too slow for what you want to do with that. It's in that category of it's a 3 mana card that would trigger the same as if you were playing Takasi's Welcome, which triggers off of mana value for creatures. So while that's something that you could absolutely run, I feel like with Geist specifically, because you don't get the token unless the Geist is swinging in, it's better off just you're better off just kind of doubling down on being able to hit up your curiosity, your curious obsessions, maybe include some agnostic draw. I'm not exactly sure what that looks like. A lot of the draw that we have in here is from auras that cantrip. We don't have any anticipates or anything like that. Like, we are just playing Geist and then going. The reason that Ristic Study gets to be in here is because it puts the onus on the opponent to either play a bunch of spells and then let us draw a bunch of cards, which, hey, this is one of the ways that the deck loses is if the opponent can like turn that corner and start double spelling every turn and to stabilize. Or it slows down the opponent so that way they're only playing 1 spell a turn by the time that we get to like cast an enchantment and then hold counterspell backup. That's kind of what I'm thinking. The Razorgrass Ambush is probably like one of those cards that I could consider cutting, but I'm playing because it doubles as a land. Attracts a Grand Unifier. Hey, speaking of decks that want to turn the corner and try and start playing extra spells. Vexing Pablo's cool here, especially they're playing Brilliant Ultimatum, Combat Researcher, Arcane Flight. We only have the 2 lands though. No real way to dig further, so let's go ahead and throw that back. Authority of the Consoles is huge for us. Those unable to scream, utter insignificance. We have a lot of removal. Let's see. Flood Farm Verge, taps for loot if we control an island. Flooded Delta is always grabbing us an island. Plains or island. Okay, so either one works. Alright, so there's Dusk. We don't have anything that we need to play this turn, so we'll play the Polluted Delta and we can surveil. I would love to have what's going to be Counterspell backup. Because they very likely have... Oh, God. It's either Wash Away, Stern Scalding also works here. Which, if you're in a Trax deck, I'm starting to think that those are the kinds of cards that you really, really need to play. Feather of Flight. I'll leave that on top. And then, even though they have the blue, I am going to go ahead and jam Geist. And Geist sticks the landing. Excellent. Now, Feather of Flight has Flash. We're not going to need that, though. Not just yet. Although, and all that glitters this turn is pretty cool. Alright. And then Glissa cannot scream. That's going to pump up the Geist and let us swing in for 10 this turn. Now she attracts us under a lot of pressure. So they're just going to scoop it up. Not having the Stern Scolding or the Wash Away is huge there. So playing this deck, I have been in scenarios where, you know, I'm up against a red-white deck, and I jam, and they manage to Mana Tithe me, and I feel horrible because I had the 4th land and I could have played around it. But at that same token, if I play the Geist on turn 3 successfully, they just have no way to deal with it. And I just win. So I do really like the whole gun 'em if you got 'em style strats. It can lead to much, much quicker games than I think blue-white is typically known for. We still had Utter Insignificance and Stasis Field as backup. Feather of Flight to just, like, get us going. We don't even have to play the Feather of Flight right away. We can just swing in again. Like, they can block with the sun. I'm trying to imagine a scenario where they actually, like, let this go on. Like, they could leave Gessa back. I could attack him without flying. And then they block, naturalize, Geist dies. I feel awful. Yeah, it probably would be better just go ahead and Feather Flight at that point. Because then they could Vines the Feather Flight, but then they can't Vines Unable to Scream. Oh my god. You ever love a Magic character so much you make a custom Figma of them? Oh, hey, Boosty Pack. And more eyeballs that I'm not going to spend. Come on. Tale of Tamio. Okay. Mill 2 cards of 2 cards that share the card. Remove this way, draw a card, and repeat the process. This would be really, really good in the, this is a DC deck that I wanted to try and make. So, over the weekend, I got this harebrained idea to go ahead and make Sidisi Umori Companion. And everything, where everything is a creature. Free card, isn't it? The deck is doing awfully. I need to get some better cards in there. I need to look up, like, more cards that just fight. Maybe cut out some of the lesser impact cards. Let's see. There's a Kogla. This is... Let's see. Make some monster roll. Remove the monster roll. Fight. Bears fight. Harpooner fights a flyer? Archer fights an X1. That's no good. Fight target zombie. Nah, Alistar. I'm severely lacking in that. Pelucanos would probably be just like one of the better cards to get for a deck like this. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm missing. Don't have Mammoth. I thought there was like a wolf. Wasn't there a wolf that fights? Oh yeah, Wicked Wolf. I meant when I was doing my werewolf deck, I meant to craft a Wicked Wolf, and I accidentally crafted a second of another card I didn't need. Feels bad. Yeah, Wicked Wolf would probably help. Agatha's Champion, kind of. This only fights creature tokens. Stag fights. Gorgus also fights. Whenever creature you control becomes the target of a spell, he fights. Yeah, I'm missing a lot of like actual fighty creatures. So like I think that companion deck specifically is going to be a work in progress for a while. Tajik Legions of Valor. No. This is actually a rough matchup, I imagine. Although with Witness Protection and Utter Insignificance, I think it works out. And we get Fly. We have Pull to the Moon, although we can't play Pull to the Moon. I'll hold on to this because we have the early interaction, which is what we're going to need against Tajik. Plus, again, even though they can Mana Tithe and Reprieve, the chances of that are like 7 and 99. Or I guess 10 and 99 because they get multiple looks, right? Card name fights target zombie has to be one of the funniest lines of text on a card. I think so. Alright. Oh, split up. If I can see double white, we're going to be A-okay. I think I probably Utter Insignificance. This has Flash. There's Invasion of Gavakon. So they'll probably take the split up. Taking either the Insignificance or the Witness Protection doesn't do too much, so I can still cast those on curve. Fly might also be another reasonable option here. If they don't take the other Insignificance, then I can insignificantize whatever it is they play. Give them the old Zaphor Beeblebrox. Okay, so they are going to use 3 mana on the Witness Protection. I'll play the Island, because they don't know I have a white source. But I do get the option to just split up after a little bit. And a Fenza. Yeah, let's go ahead and make you insignificant. Jawari Disruption. Yep, make the guys stick. They could have an Anger of the Gods still, and a deck like Tajik is not afraid to run like a million Rafts. It's going to be very important to be able to hold up the Jawari Disruption. Role Model. If it's tapped, they get a thing. Alright. Well, I think I always play Aigajo. I can play Pull to the Moon, get rid of the Reluctant Model. Tajik comes down. Tajik. Yeah, I think that's going to be what the disruption is for. Alright, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to attack. That's 7. We get the draw, and we get to venture into the dungeon. We just saw Tomb of Annihilation do some really good stuff. I think that actually works out pretty great in our favor. But the discarded card can be rough. I'm going to go ahead and go Mind Offend Delver so we can get a little more support. Mana Drain is very acceptable. I will leave that on top so we can draw it. We'll cast Jawari Disruption if they try and play Tajik. An offensive and reluctant model can also swing into invasion, cast invasion. But given that they missed the land drop, I don't like their odds. Especially now that they know that we have a Ganjo. And they also know that we have a Wrath. So one of the things that we can... Actually, one of the things that we could do on the next turn is swing in with Geist. And then if they've left both of their creatures back still, then we can go ahead and get them with the split up. Assuming that we get like a second land to continue to hold up Jawari Disruption. Or the Mana Drain. Geist is a really, really cool card. It's the kind of commander that I really was enchanted by back when he first came out. And I thought he would be a really cool commander to build around, and I tried it. But I wasn't really happy with the play pattern that you kind of have to do if you want to use him to win a multiplayer game. Because typically with that, you're basically playing what Bruno of Alabasta ended up being. Where you play Eldrazi Conscription, you play just a bunch of stuff on him and Voltron him up and then try and avoid dying from other players once you become archenemy. Sigarda's Aid with all the aura removal is amazing, BT dubs. We do get to go first, so I'll keep this. And then Polluted Delta represents either a Surveil land or a Shock land. So I'll actually go Waste first. So that way Polluted Delta has the option to grab a tap land if they decide to not play Keenan for whatever reason. Oh, wait, I forgot to play the Sigarda's Aid. Shit. Fuck. Well, there's the Sigarda's Aid now. I guess we're gonna use the Swords to Plow. Leafkin Druid. Now, that is really good with Kennen. Let's go ahead, bolt the bird, pass the turn. Here's Geist. Authority of the Consuls would actually be pretty great. They're gonna try and go for Kennen, though. No, they're gonna go with the Creeper. Okay. One island. Alright, attempt to suit up the Geist. Geist has been suited up. And I could still unable to scream in response to them. No, not in response to like doing the mana. I think I just play Authority here. We have removal backup. We have 3 instances of spot removal to get rid of Kennen. They do get like a huge turn. Any big blockers they play. They get what? Frog. Frog gets Reach and Death Touch. Don't like that. Alright, so now they get to drop all their mana dorks. I like holding up Memory Lapse here. Alright, go combat. And they're done. Phew, is a little dicey there because we just started missing land drops. The sequencing almost had me terrified for our life. I think we have a little more wiggle room if I actually play out the Sigarda's Aid like I meant to start with. But 2 pieces of removal with Flash, Battle Water in case they actually get anything big. Because Kogla comes down. Kogla doesn't have a fight target. The Poison Dart Frog is also the problem. I feel like they honestly could have like sandbagged at least one more turn. I legitimately think that, because I would have had to use the Heliod's punishment on the frog, just so that way Geist doesn't have to, like, you know, trade there.
Support has arrived.
Lucky, thank you so much for gifting the sub. The other thought is that we go ahead, memory lapse, whatever spell they play, swing in. They go ahead, they block with the frog, they tap to give the frog death touch. No, that doesn't work because of the way timestamps work. So, like, they can activate, and in response, we can punishment. No, we let the ability resolve. It gains death touch. Then we flash in punishment to enchant the frog. So that way, even if they try and, like, activate it again, timestamps say, okay, you have death touch, but now we're taking the death touch away. And then the guy kills the frog, and then everything's hunky-dory. Okay, we're good. We figured out. We cracked the code. Mythic, it's Overlord of the Flood Pits. Whenever it enters the attacks, draw 2, discard a card. The Zerg decks are eating really, really good today. In fact, actually, I don't think I have a Zerg, do I? I do. Okay. So, like, at some point, we can actually try making a Zerg deck that uses all of the new rooms. We can build that Enchantress deck that I keep trying to make a Layla into, but Xur is actually just, like, the better Esper Enchantress card by far. Gotta support the stream. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I know I haven't been streaming a lot lately. I'm just kind of taking it easy to make room for a lot of the other projects I'm working on. I'm still editing the Yuri on Ice video slowly. I'm still editing the writing and outlining the book that I'm working on that I'm going to write for NaNoWriMo. This is we have what? The opponent's going to go first. We have Wash Away to deal with the Johnny for a turn. Rune of Flight. Help us out. Pull the Mist Moon. Cavern of Souls to prevent any Manti shenanigans. Crossroads comes into play untapped. I think we're fine. We are going to play Misty Rainforest first, though. Much as I would love to grab a Surveil land. Having 4 lands in hand does just give us the flexibility. Hollow Fountain, you'll bolt ourselves, so that way we win tempo here. You can also Crossroads, let it come to play tapped. I think that's actually probably correct. With the Pull the Moon, though, let's name White and try and Scry. But now I'm just gonna feel silly. We'll use the Cavern of Souls. They leave everything untapped. If not, we'll play the Demolition Field. No, it's Mabel. Alright, we're going to be in for a real pounding here. I could play the Borrow Time, get rid of Mabel. I'd rather use it for a Johnny next turn. This can at least grab a blue eventually. This is going to put us into a world of pain. Adeline. This is what, 2 to equip? Okay, so they're not going to cast that just yet? Alright, so Mabel comes in. That's a 1-1. We go ahead and block here. We're going to be racing really hard. Rune of Flight draws a card. This also draws a card. Key to the City is not what we want. Angelic Gift. Try and draw into a blue source. Otherwise, we will have to play Cavern of Souls instead. That's not what I wanted. we can go ahead and pump up the Geist at least. Try and start racing. I think I'd rather just Rune of Flight. Draw another card. Also gives us a little bit of insurance in case they have like a... Just a split up. That's not bad. Means we can blow up all the untapped creatures, including a Johnny. Trying to draw into a little something something. Might even need to use Demolition Field. Okay, so they're just gonna hit us for 4. That's fine. Does this give Vigilance? If it does, I actually hope they put it on Mabel. Like, I am a-okay with that if that ends up being how they want to do things. Nope, they're gonna play Squee, Dubious Monarch. So then we'll play this pre-combat. Okay, so now it's just got like super vigilance. Ow, we're at 2. Life is not looking pog. Yeah, just not having both Demolition Field and Cavernous Souls ends up killing us for us. Because even if I split up now, I don't have the mana I need to get rid of Adeline as well. I guess this does kind of like adequately split up our forces. I could go ahead, use Geist as a blocker, except Adeline has trample because of that. I don't have any way to draw additional cards here. Arcane Flight doesn't get there. No, we'll call that GG. It's awkward. It's awkward because you want Field of Ruin to help deal with any really problematic man lands. You want it to deal with Cavernous Soul so that way you can interact with them trying to cast their creatures. There's also just like not a lot of actual colorless lands in here. It's Field of Ruin, Demolition Field, Cavernous Souls, and we just happen to see 2 of those 3. Like, that's just RNG. Maybe actually, hold on. Why am I not running Brainstorming? Brainstorm would actually be really good hand fixing. Like, we're playing all the fetches already. Like, I'm a big proponent of playing Brainstorm in Brawl now that we have literally all 10 fetches. I don't think this is a deck for this isn't easy. Like, Teferi can do a lot of work against the control decks. But we also just kind of do that by getting underneath them. Balloon Brigade, Grenzo. This is a deck that I actually have to respect. Negate can help a lot. Brainstorm after Flooded Strands is also really good. Gossip's Talent can help us dig. Plus there's Skyblade's Boon. The good news is most of the stuff that they heist from us isn't going to be great. They can hit our counter spells, which is not good. I'm going to lead up on Vantress specifically so I can Brainstorm after fetching. I would love to have Gossip's Talent down. Holding up a Negate in case when they try and develop their turn is also pretty great. Spell Pierce helps out a lot. If I had a Tail's End right now, that would be so fucking rude. Like, no. You want to make sure you want to start getting into the habit of not fetching when the opponent has 2 blue open mana. Otherwise, I just get to like strip mine you. Spell Pierce is also a really good option. I can Brainstorm into Spell Pierce, so I can do both potentially. Enters, discard a card, then heist our library. Let's go ahead and Brainstorm now. Ewit, Cartage of Knowledge draws a card. I think we put back the boon. Let's see, what's the rest of this? Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, you make a treasure. That's probably Witness Protection territory on the following turn. I'm willing to put back the Gossip's Talent. And then, yeah, let's just let that resolve. They're not gonna, because it heists spells, right? Yeah, heists spells. Yeah, non-land cards. Like, they could grab a counterspell. And I think that's the assumption we have to run with. The other option is that they actually just get a flying enchantment. I wonder if it's going to, like, take away the Gossip's Talent and the Skyboon. The good news is, like, it gives them 3 spells they have to pick from, as opposed to, like, letting them look through the entirety of the deck. Okay, so notably, it doesn't get rid of the hidden cards. Doesn't matter too much. We're going to Surveil. See if we can... Memory Lapse? I am A-okay with holding on to Memory Lapse. And then... How do I feel if I play Geist and they just Edict me? If they Shoulder Edict... So, like, if I wait a turn, they have 3. They could go on their turn, play around that way. Yeah, I'm just going to jam the Geist now. Because this is a deck that we can't just let them set up. And by the time that I'm able to play around the Edict... Okay, they're going to go Guardian Idol instead. That works. Scaldy turn. You feel like 1,000 bugs. Let's see. This one draws a card. I think I like... Scalding Tarn. Cartouche. Draw a new card. Don't make a sound is pretty great right now. Alright, and we're just going to get to work. Now, they currently have 4, 5. They're not likely to play Grenzo on the next turn, but we have Memory Lapse if they do. Like, we have a lot of backup here, very specifically soft backup. We have to save the Negate for an Edict, or even a Meat Hook Massacre. Okay, so we're going to Pirate's Pillage. You know what? So that's very likely going to be their whole turn. Let's grab... We already grab a Shock. There we go. So there's a Time Walk for you. And now they can probably cast Grenzo on the next turn. Yeah, Lootmonger is not going to be doing anything. They do have mana available for a counterspell now, though, so we do have to be wary about that. So I'm probably going to want to hold on to... No, they're just going to heist our library again. Which, like, hey, if that's what you're into. Tail's End. Don't mind if I do. And also we have Castle Vantress online, so if they don't do anything, we're cool. The Lootmonger does give them treasure for casting their counter spells. That's something that we need to think of. Might have even been worth using a Witness Protection on the Lootmonger specifically. I don't know how to tell you this. If that spell is countered this way. Oh, nope. Actually, hold on. Well, I am going to allow it. This is exactly why we have Counter Souls. I'm going to go ahead and counter the ability. And then we're just going to Witness Protection Grenzo. Let's see, what is this? Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a spell you don't own. Yep, see, there's the Angelic Gift. What if we just, like, memory lapse the Angel Wings so we get it back? They do get a treasure. Yeah, so let's go ahead. Witness Protection on Grenzo. Grenzo no longer matters. They've got 3 left. Pass a turn. Negate and Spell Pierce. They could make... Oh, they're gonna feed the Swarm. Alright, so there's a negate. They could cast another spell off of the Lootmonger. I also could have... Oh, no, never mind. They're just calling it GG's. What else was this? Nothing flies. Gonna go ahead, hit us for 3. And then that's the all Scoopies. Did we get to see what this was? No? Damn. I'm so curious as to, like, what this was. Because if it's not a counter spell... or even, like, a soft counter spell, it could have been one of our counter spells that... I'm trying to think. Yeah, I have no idea what could be. It could have been any number of things. It could have even been like one of our Witness Protection style enchantments that just does absolutely nothing. Hey, that's our daily. No packs? We get a pack at the next level. Currently halfway through. The mastery expires in 28 days. Already? Damn. Okay, I gotta play a lot. I'm gonna be playing a lot more Magic. It's like, yeah, the guy's deck is feeling pretty good so far. Compare that to like Hilda, which has to be slower, and is definitely a deck for the Teferi. But we've also got Mind Sculptor, Emperor, the Wandering Emperor, the Eternal Wanderer, the Wandering Rescuer, the Lady of many names. It would have to be the best of 3 different spells from your deck. They probably wouldn't have picked up something that does nothing. That's true, unless like... Alright, so let's just have a thought experiment, shall we? So, here's what it could have been. Like, I don't think they grab... They absolutely did not grab Expel the Interlopers, otherwise they could have played that and wiped away Geist for a turn. It probably wasn't any of the other routes, although that's a possibility. It definitely wasn't Temporary Lockdown, because you're right, that doesn't do anything. We saw Key to the City in the other game. That doesn't feel relevant, though. Honestly, we have enough Stasis Field Unable to Scream effects that theoretically they could have gotten, like, super unlucky. Or they could have just been like, oh, snap, grab that, and then not thought about, oh, wait, Geist has hexproof. Especially if they're not familiar with Geist, or they assume that my deck had other creatures to hit. I don't think it's unreasonable to think that a blue-white Enchantress deck might not be running the new Eerie Enchantress, might not be running Spirit Priests. Oh god, I can never remember what the core was. Core Spirit Dancer, that's what. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that I might be playing a Spirit Dancer, a SRAM, or a Pearl Ear, or a Light Paws, or something like that. But it is such that with my deck specifically, the only other creature that I'm playing happens to be a Wave Breaker, and very specifically, because it gives Geist prowess, which I think is really cool, especially if you get into like a counter war for a turn. They might have grabbed a Vexing Bauble and then been like, I'll just keep this tucked away. But then you can cast the Vexing Bauble and cash it. Slip at the back is only target. No, this is on target creature. You can actually phase out an opponent's creature. I never really thought about that. So honestly, we'll never know. It's funny how Gossip's talent is actually more support for Geist than most anything that we've gotten from Duskmourn, outside of just, you know, better removal. I like the Geist thing. Do I want to play Soldier or Hilda first? I want to try playing Soldiers first. See if we can capture kind of the same aggro. I don't think this deck's going to be as fast as Geist is. Glarb Calamity's Augur. I keep seeing Glarb decks. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that these decks are seeing in Glarb that's better than, say, playing Nashi. It might be like just Commander weighing. Let's see. Opponent goes first. Play Skrelv and hold up miscast. Recruiter the guard to grab another creature. We have one of our colorless lands. Okay, am I gonna play Skrelv out naked? Honestly, I don't think I do. Suppose grabs an island, right? I think I'm willing to play Skrelv and hold up miscast specifically. And that's our cue to go ahead and fetch since they tap out. Surveil, see if we can find some support. Valiant Veteran's pretty good. Fanatic of Ronus can be a problem. Now I can hold up Bring the Ending. I don't necessarily like this, but I'm also on the draw. Alright, so now they get to play their land drop. They don't get to just like explode in value. That's pretty Snowland, Skrelv, or Veteran. Carbon flies. I'll play Veteran. Skrelv doesn't need to protect Veteran. And I think at this point they want to play their commander rather than... Well, see, they have two black sources. Island of Swamp. Blue Delta's going to be able to turn on the Verge. Like, this could go either way, I guess. Scarab God! That's spooky. This is what? Exile target creature from a graveyard. That's a really good reason to play Glarb. Also probably a card I should oh god. Do I even have Scarab God? I might. See, this is whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers. You know what? We just need to, like, grab more creatures. Creature card, toughness 2 or less. We can Solitude and Exile Scarab God, right? When Scarab God dies... Am I just grabbing Solitude, pitching for Siege Veteran? Probably. Because this is actually really terrifying and also enables Fanatic of Cronus. Yep, there's Glarb. I don't know how this deck gets through stuff like Blarb without like additional help. We're gonna go ahead and miscast that. Kellen is just like a lot of value. This is 5 exile, put a counter on each soldier you control. Yoshi and frontliner. In script. Not quite. Attack with 5 or more soldiers. How many snowlands we have? Just the 2? 3? No target gets 1-0. They're main phase glarbing. I don't like that. That could mean that they're going to play like a Blood on the Snow. Or a... Oh god, destroy the evidence. The crime scene. The 6 mana. Collect evidence 6 to like just exile to the eye of your opponent's graveyard. Like, we're really vulnerable to a Wrath right now. Whenever you cast a spell that's 1 or more colors, gain 1 life for each of that spell's colors. Do this only once each turn. Cast for any color. Okay, it's an Ancient Cornucopia. A Djinn. A Haughty Djinn, even. An 0-4, so, like, we don't have to worry about that, at least. Guardian of Nubanal. It's kind of... This is an 0-4, this is a 1-4. We are safe to go ahead and just, like, swing out. You only have 2 snowlands. Valiant Veteran? Alright, there's the Guardian of New Benalia. We have enough for Harbin. We are severely lacking in card draw right now. I wish I had a goated recon mission. That might be the kind of card that I have to put in this deck. Opponent's going to take an extra turn. Not happy about that. Would have liked to have had the miscast to stop that, but Kellen actually would be a 3-4 Flying Vigilance that actually stops a lot of stuff. Harbin's going to give all of our soldiers flying if they don't find an answer. This is play lands, cast spells, mana value 4 or greater. A Helping Hand might actually also help with Harbin. Harbin's only 2 mana. No, Coma is a good one. Now we have Skrelv. Skrelv can stop for a turn. Alright, so now they can get to make their token. They're gonna let us draw. I can't think of anything that I can draw into that would cost a massive amount of mana. So I am just going to go ahead and pay the mana here. Authority of the Consuls is pretty cool. This is what enlist a creature scry to. Do we have enough to let... Oh, I guess I could have, like, put that power on one of the other creatures. Not that would have mattered, like, too much. This way the extra power does just, like, get through. Let's make it so that way that they don't have, like, any extra blockers. See, this is just tap the permanent, can't be... Its activated abilities can't be activated. So, they do get, like, another... They get 2 serpents. And then in response to Skrelv, they can just sack the other serpent. But then that way I make sure that they just keep sacrificing serpents, I guess. This just says whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers. It doesn't care if Harbin himself actually attacks. So, like, if we manage to get, like, another soldier, we're fine. Gain control of the Yoshi and frontliner, that means that we don't have enough soldiers to attack. By activating the Faceless Haven. So what do we want to do? We could Scrub in response, and then they tap Harbin in response and have one left over. Which is honestly what they might want to consider doing. At this point, I am going to go ahead and pay the 2 here. This does make them use both the serpents. And if they're using 2 serpents to try and lock down 1 creature, I'm okay with that. The Guardian can get indestructible, which is pretty cool. I guess I could have used Skrelv to tap down to get the Guardian. Let's go combat. Let's see, unless you just enlist 1, tap a non-attacking creature. Oh. Alright, so let's scry 2, see if we can start digging our way out of this. Arrestor is not going to help us out. Although I guess the Snowland would have meant that we had a Faceless Haven. I guess the snow cover here also helps. Yeah, I don't know how this gets over the finish line. Because I'm convinced that they're gonna find something that wins the game faster than we can. Although, you know what? Coma does a really good job of winning the game on its own, so... Not wrong. The authority of the consoles kind of helps. Yeah, they're gonna keep digging with Glarb. I guess that's kind of the appeal of running Glarb as your Sultai control commander. You hate seeing this. They lost this. They got rid of a Scoot Swarm. If they have like any sort of victimized reanimation, okay, I think that's scoop worthy. Unfortunately, deck just ran out of gas. We do have a Glimmer that draws cards in the Vein of Recon mission now, which is pretty good. Vanguard, Frontliner, Case of the Gateway with Flowering, and Guardian. I think this is a hand that we can actually hold on to for that. Probably play the Yoshi in first. And then play Flowering specifically so that to get that extra power and protection. Like, okay, that's Ragavan. Well, now I'm just gonna go ahead and like kill him. See, this is another target attacking creature. Understood, understood. Anchorage is here. Play Flowering. Nettle Guard is also quite nice. Yep. And then next turn we can double spell with Harbin and Vanguard. We can even play Guardian, Nettle, Vanguard. Harbin's a 3/2. He gets the ward protection. They can kill the frontliner. Frontliner does have Unearth. Fable. Loaded Delta is exactly the kind of card I want to look for right now. I would like to be able to play Nettle Guard. Play Nether Guard, sack it to keep the Fable from like going off. What's Balloon Man do? Tap, create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it's a 1/1. So then they could play that double on the Goblin Shamans. I really don't like that. But I also just need to go like super, super wide. Oh boy. We might need to make sure we have more 1-drops. Let's go ahead, play the Guardian since the Guardian can block pretty nicely. Turn this into an island. That way we have another card that can block. And then I will offer the trade for the frontliner. They don't take it, not surprising. Vanguard will start getting... I'll also probably just discard the Vanguard to the Guardian if I need to. Like, they can go ahead, play Jolly Balloon Man, make double Goblin Shamans, and then I can just go ahead and block. Blade, you say? That does shoot Harbin. Yeah. Honestly, I'll take that since I could just replay Harbin. And then they can swing in with the Goblin. Got, what, only 3 cards in the graveyard? See, this is not legendary, right? Yeah. Selfless Savior's pretty cool. We have Guardian. We can recruit the frontliner. We want... We always play the guard, right? We always play Selfless Savior so we can replay Harbin. Also just play Harbin out. They get Fable, then they play Jolly Balloon Man. We still have a turn to do some stuff there. There a world where they can play like a Faithless Looting, 5 damage, get Flage out. Alright, let's go combat. You can enlist because we want Boromir. I'm gonna leave Boromir. That's 5/3. That's a lot of damage. They can block that. Nope, they're just gonna eat it. Alright, then Selfless Savior and Nettle Guard. Okay, so Fable comes out. Arid Mesa, that's gonna feed Flage pretty good. Now they have 4 in the graveyard, they need 2 more. Actually, Kiki Jiki would be at least 1. No, they're gonna Jolly Balloon Man. Okay. Hold up Nettle Guard in case they want to target Reflection. Whenever a creature you control with flying enters, this is the one that becomes a goose. And yeah, just as expected, they do go double. Wait, what? It gets... Oh, it gets flying because... It gets flying because it's a balloon. I get it. It's cute. We're gonna blow up the reflection then. There. Yeah. Block there. Let's see. Part of a spell ability you control gets O2. Oh, that's a razor bush. Yeah, I think I just got fucking bamboozled here. Did I like put any rafts or anything in here? No, I think I just fucked this up. This deck did not leave the. Let's see. I put in. Why? I see. Okay. So like I fucked up. I didn't put in like any rafts in here. So that's gonna need some tweak. I didn't put in any of the rafts I did for Geist. Whoops. Not that any of the rafts I would have put in there would have actually helped against Balloon specifically. I think it also just needs like more ways to make soldier tokens. Maybe like a Heliod's intervention. Alright, so this is Kaith, Famed Mechanist. Populate and Proliferate. Path to Exile is an answer for that. We've got Cold Steel Heart. Not a lot of other answers though. This is much better. Got Seachrome Coast to start. Blue to hold up Tail's End, followed by As Foretold. Opponent scoops. For some reason, I guess they had to. I guess they had to case the runs. Or maybe even worse still, they have hot girl syndrome. As I have recently realized I am not immune to. Alright, I guess we'll take a mulligan on that game. I've been drawing every day for the past 13, 14 days, chat. Just drawing OCs, drawing characters that I've written, characters I've been thinking about a lot. We're up against Wrath, Weatherlight, Stalwart. This is going to be incredibly hard for us. Because we are not as hard control as they are. Interesting. Oh, wait, no, this is the other Wrath. Whenever you cast instant sorcery, tap 2 untapped creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. So then in response, we just tap down their stuff. And they never get to do anything they want. You know what? That's completely fair. I'm definitely getting the impression that Hilda is a lower tier control deck. One of the appeals of Geist is that you do get to play the higher power level Brawl, and at that point you can start expecting kind of a uniform suite of threats and answers. Alkist Proft. The guy who can Sphinx's Rev off of a single clue. Counterspell, As Foretold, helps out with that. Elite Arresters can be cool. Maybe. Expel the Interloper's Counterspell, but we only have... We're on the play. Play the island next. See if As Foretold resolves. Training Ground. Activate abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less. Spicy. Nope. They're just gonna pass with 2 blue up. Go ahead, play seat. I want to jam the As Foretold. We can't. And this is where we're going to start suffering if we don't hit our land drops. Yep, there's actual factual counterspell. We are in danger. We just missed a land drop. Which means that I should really consider having just more land drop. I would love to play Faithful Absence, but if the As Foretold gets countered, As Foretold did not get countered. As Foretold can still get Oblivion Ringed, fortunately. Alright, we're gonna need to increase the land count for this deck. It's only like, what, 7? Ristic Study. Yeah, we'll take the 3 there. Alright, that puts the first time counter on there. Are you kidding me? No, they get to draw off that with the Ristic Study. What we want to do... We're also just like really poorly set up for... we're gonna mill a card and they just always mill it out, right? They take nothing. They are not punished. They're 2 lands ahead of us. They can now Sphinx's Rev for 2. I'm gonna put an upkeep stop on their turn. Well, the good news is we can start doing some stuff. Faithful Absence. What? Faithful Absence scene would be grand and wonderful, actually. I want to hold mana open so I can counterspell. No attacks, pass. Orb. Just ship the lands to the bottom because we want to just like have damage dealt to them. Taking Sphinx's Rev for 2. Faithful Absence? Okay, the 1? Now they have to recast? Oh, is it 4? Wait, why is it 4? Hold on. Draw X cards, gain X life, 3. That's 5 mana. Why is X equals 4? It's pay. They have 5 mana. Why is it 4? Oh, is it? No, why? Why is it extra? Oh, because training grounds, right. Okay, I'm a dork. Alright, that's Celestis. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about that. We can use As Foretold to cast Hilda next turn in a couple of turns. That's something. And we can start using the orb to try and hit a land. We could potentially grab ourselves into it as long as they don't have like anything to kill our win conditions. This is what target creature gains hexproof. Oh, okay, they're just going to discard it, some extras that they don't need. The Wandering Emperor is not enough. I'm pondering this orb as hard as I can. Come on. Come on. Baby. If they let me draw a card, I'm fine. I want to make sure that we're hitting lands next turn. Commit. I can... Well, that's one card. As Foretold starts getting big next turn. Curse of Silence to keep us from casting Hilda. Okay, sure, yep. As Foretold to cast things that have flash. Elspeth Conquers Death to get rid of Ristic Study. They can tap out the cast Prof, but I don't think they want to do that. They want to have counterspell backup. They still have Celestis. It's just creatures, right? No, they're gonna go for it. Okay. Yep. So Prof investigates. Yep. Okay. As foretold hits 4. Captive Crossroads. Alright. I will shock in Hallowed Fountain. The question just becomes, like, what do I do now? I can play Wandering Emperor in response to them using Proft. I can also tap Proft. I can attempt to cast the Wandering Emperor. I can exile target tap creature.
Overconfident. You're just underwhelming.
Like, I have to try something. That's Mixed Sanctuary. Puts a card back on top. That's Counterspell. They can pay 2 mana, draw Counterspell. No, they have like a slip out the back. No, they have March of the Swirling. This is what? Target creature you control gains hexproof. Upkeep. Mana Drain and Gaddock the Wizard. I will leave those both on top. Alright, so I will go ahead, pay the blue. I will tap Croft. I don't have the one to pay. So they do get to draw a counterspell. I will attempt to mana drain them back. They do get to draw another card, which sucks. They can also, but like the real goal here is that they can just like Croft in response. And that's kind of what I'm hoping they do. Because then, even though they get a bunch of cards, even though they do get life, like I have they're tapped out and I have a chance to try and like do something cool. Okay, so they're gonna dig through time. Dig through time would have been a great mana drain target. But c'est la vie! I think Elspeth Conquers Death hits the Rhystic Study. If they hit like a negate, that gets them there. Cyclonic Rift targeting the As Foretold sucks. But I have the Captivating Crossroads so I can cast Expel the Interlopers anyway. That was all during the upkeep, baby! I would love to replay the As Foretold. But I don't know. The Enigma Jewel. Is there anything that the Enigma Jewel... Okay, I do get 2 extra mana. That helps. As Foretold leaves me with 4 left over. And then has to restart everything. I can also cast Hilda. I don't have a way to protect her, though. Oh, gods. I feel like I just have... Do I have to, like, Elspeth here? I would love to be able to get rid of Proft. Get rid of Proft. Stop some of the bleeding at the source. As Foretold, I would love to get that going together as well. If I do this, I have 2 mana left over. That doesn't do a whole lot, but it gets rid of Proft for like a turn. Yeah, we'll pay the 1. Not doing a whole lot. And they don't have any creatures out. They don't have any rocks or anything like that. Meanwhile, the orb is still going off. Getting a flare can stop like a River's Rebuke. Yep, there's magnifying glass. They can just like keep making all the clues. They're tapping out for Proft again. I could go ahead and exile Proft with the Wandering Emperor. I'm honestly kind of willing to do that. Arcane Signet. Arcane Signet, pay 3, pay 2, tap, remove Proft. There's an Arcane Signet. We go ahead. Tap. Go ahead. Exile.
I guess that's the thing. You are not much of a roadblock.
And then Hover Ship is another card that answers Proft. Next turn, I'm gonna get in a good position to try and get As Foretold going again. Also to drop Elspeth Conquers Death. One, two. This is what? Pay 2, activate abilities. Swords the Plow. Now that's interesting. So then we can play As Foretold. We get As Foretold down. We're gonna start making a comeback here. I think what we do is actually let's attempt to Hover Ship. Because right now they're really trying hard to get Proft down. So I'm going to start fighting to get Proft away. Okay, exile Hover Ship. Hails in, they're going to counter the triggered ability. Yep, we'll pay the 1 again. I'll draw a card off a clue. And then we'll just bash him for 1. Let's cruise for 1. Having negate backup for As Foretold is big for us. Junk Winder, unfortunately, doesn't work. Out. There goes. Hold on. This is permanent speed control. Let's see. In permanency control, can't. Alright, so pay the 1. They get to draw another card. Flare. Hopefully resolves, otherwise they have to tap out for counter magic. See, this is what I mean by Rhystic Study actually being really good. Like, it's taxing us so hard because we just can't afford to let them draw those extra cards. Oh, I will gladly take extra link. And unfortunately, I have to let them draw extra cards because I have to be able to double spell. Alright. Now Elspeth Conquers Death can get back the Wandering Emperor. Alright, so they're going to draw a card. Full of the Mist Moon. I don't know how, but we're climbing our way back in here. Elspeth Conquers Death untaps. Are we in a position where we can finally play Hilda? I don't think so. I think we have to get As Foretold down now. You can also pull the Mist Moon to get rid of Rhystic Study. That'd be great. But the sooner we get As Foretold down, the sooner we can actually, like, start trying to win. Replicating Arena is a problem, means that, but like they already have so much artifact mana. I can't let you have a Teferi, unfortunately. Like, even just a regular Teferi is obscene. I would be shocked if they don't have Counterspell. Nope, it's Dovin. Yep, so this is just priority the untapped artifacts, right? Yeah. They have so many permanents. If I could just, like, draw a Farewell and pull the trigger on that, that would set them back really hard. Oh, God, yeah. There's no way they don't. So, offer the As Foretold up as bait. 3, 4, pay the 1. They do have to pay the 2 extra for this. Mana drain sucks. You get to draw another card. Unless they have a Pact negation. Ristic Study is just like drawing them so many replacements. It's honestly to a point where I don't feel like I can actually win this unless we just like hit something Game Busters off of the orb, because they're not gonna like actually build the damage for the orbs anymore. Like, I could just keep doing this over and over again, but I think we've lost this. And this is kind of exactly what I'm talking about. I don't like the blue-white matchups where all you do is just try and stabilize. Let's see. We're bad. Like, at this point, we're just... So blue-white control is happy to run a lot of Wraths. We are not, because we're trying to play Hilda. But Hilda's also like a really good force once she's down. Maybe with some more selective Wraths, I guess. We don't get to play anything other than like split up in terms of like the one-sided Wraths, because unfortunately Hilda checks off both power 3 or greater, toughness 4 or greater. Gadwick, I think, still definitely fits into the deck. We got buried under the Ristic Study. So maybe like a Lauren. Actually, hold on. We're not running Get Lost. Add that little bit more interaction. I don't know that it's even necessarily that it's the needing to survive long enough to set up. That part is fine. I think it's very specifically when you're up against another blue-white control deck and you both just look at each other and go, okay, we doing this? Yeah, we're doing this. Arcane Signet, Replicating Rain. If they thought sees us, we lose the Eternal Wanderer, but we still have a Geist that they can kill. I think we do. I think we have to do better. This is better. I would love to play the Sentinel first. We have to run out snow-covered plains. An offering you can't refuse helps in if they cultivate. Depends on whether they drop a Landward Elf this turn or not. Okay, they're going to traverse the Oval Mob, which lets them search for a basic land. But if they have Delirium, they search for a creature or land. Glacial Fortress actually helps out. Alright, we'll play the Esper Sentinel. This doesn't stop any of their mana dorks, but it slows down if they have, I don't know, Into the North, which they're playing snow-covered land, so they might. Just tap to control. Trying to remember what could have flash that's green or black, and I guess Bowmasters. We have the selfless savior to protect Hilda. But they might just pop. Oh my god! It's actual factual Bowmasters! That's actually really bad. Because now we get punished off of the Sentinel. Right? If they cast Cultivate, they can choose not to pay. We draw an extra card. So then Bowmasters, except the first one they draw in their draw step. Okay, so... hit the Harrow. We offer they can't refuse. Their mana is temporary. Let's draw the card first. Target the Selfless Savior. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and harrow that, so that way they only have treasures. That is funny. They don't get the token because the target fizzles. Narcolepsy tapping the Bowmasters down. Cool. I would love to be able to tap down Shelob with it. We were the starting player, right? No, they were the starting player. Okay. None of these grab Island. Narcolepsy, tap down the Bowmasters. We want to get rid of the Bowmasters since that actually causes problem for Hilda. So I'm not going to Narcolepsy. In fact, I am fine with taking the trade here. Because again, they can just do the same thing where they play any instant of sorcery, choose not to pay, and then ping the Sentinel. I don't think Hilda survives. She comes down right away. So we should probably start looking at some of the... Yep. Alright, goodbye, Sentinel. Loth Spider Queen is pretty good. We are getting totaled out here right now. There's Icy Manipulator, pass. Yeah, we're flooded. We're flooded to death right now. So what we're going to be looking for is anything that deals with early aggression. Hilda's going to be a commander that we don't want to play until we have like 6-8 mana. So we want to increase land count. We want to... We're already running Temporary Lockdown. Temporary Lockdown's really good for us. Icy Manipulator, tapping down Black Swords during the upkeep can be helpful. Giant Killer, tap down. Giant Killer can block some stuff. We can use Narcolepsy to tap down the Cultivator. The issue with trying to Narcolepsy any of their mana dorks is that they can just tap them in response and then Hilda doesn't get the trigger. I would love to be able to Giant Killer Shelob. Chop down, unfortunately, costs 3. We only have... So we have... Well, we have 5. Fortunately, none of these are the right fetch lands. So we can Shelob. That doesn't really help us. I think we have to play a blocker. Just, like, slow them down a little bit. And then... during our upkeep, we'll tap down their Overgrown Tomb. So that way they have to use the Cultivator to pay for Shelob. Alright, they lose that mana. Pass. Hilda can start making some nice big elementals to block with. Except we'd lose the Narcolepsy now. Rip. I guess it still works with the Giant Killer. But, like, you don't feel good about it. We're still getting beaten to death by 2 menace spiders. Off is a hell of a drug. We need to grab Surveil in and try and find something, anything that actually gets us out of this. Frost Titan gets us out of this. And I need to avoid losing life, so I'm just going to untap this. The Cultivator has Death Touch. The Death Touch can still get through. Pass the turn. Frost Titan can now attack and lock down Shelob, potentially, but they still have 3 cards in hand. That screams... Let's see. Draw 2 creatures die. She gets to make 2 more spiders. I don't care about the orc token. So she can have an extra loyalty counter.
Aren't I generous?
Ah, blood money. Okay, so it was the illusion of choice.
Subservience will be.
I'm getting kind of sick and tired of drawing all of these lands. This is whenever we tap an untapped creature, so we're just going to pass the turn. They have all the mana they have. They probably just want to play Shelob and then fight. Hopefully Hilda can start taking us down. I am going to go ahead and tap this down so that way we get the trigger. Pay the 1 so that way we can get an elemental. We're going to lose 2 more life, but they have to be running out of gas at this point. If they have a reanimate, that's really bad. They can just grab our Ice Titan on the final chapter. Yep, that's what they're going to do. They're going to grab our Frost Titan. Yeah. Against the target of a spell or ability. Get to pay 2 more for that. Yeah, we just need so...
My power is for annihilation.
Yeah, we just got run over. Like... This is a matchup where if we're playing more Wraths, then this isn't an issue for us. Blood Money is a, could be replaced with any Wrath, and that kind of devastates us. We're losing too much to the go wide decks. Like, I can go ahead, play this 3, 4, 5, 6, and then still have enough mana to, say, tap down a spider. But then the Frost Titan comes in with a chair. Tap target permanent, taps down the Icy Manipulator. Icy Manipulator doesn't untap. I think, unfortunately, Loth showed a very strong weakness in our deck. Which means that if it's in the name of survivability, then we have to be okay with playing more Rats. I would love to once again have just like the extra wild card to make the enchantment that would get me there. And we have options. We have like plenty of options. We don't want any of the incomplete Wraths except for split up. So like we can play a Day of Judgment. Else we got player controls the most creatures investigates, then destroy all creatures. Guess those are quasi. Destroy all artifacts or enchantments. Doomscar. Being able to foretold can help. Garbage. 5 mana. Yeah. Basically, foretell this protected from any sort of Thoughtseize effect, and to be able to pay 3 later on. We already have Expel the Interlopers. That's fine. Starfall Invocation fits into this really nicely since we can let them draw the card to get Hilda back if we need to. Am I really gonna be that girl? Kinda, yeah. So like, here's the thing: if they play, we need them to have creatures in order for Hilda to actually work. What I kind of want is a way to just like gift him creatures. So like, gift a card actually ends up becoming a pretty cool card mechanic. Maybe that's actually what we need. Let's see what other gifts we can give them. Oh, wait, you can also play Elspeth. See that Elspeth. Let's see. Dawn's Truce. You can permanently control, gain hexproof. If the gift was promised. This is gift a card. I would like to get them a fish. Let's see. This is whenever you give a gift, draw a card. Exile target non-token creature. If the gift wasn't promised, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a 1/1 counter. This does just double white exile. And gives them a fish. Let's see what else we got. Return target creature and opponent controls to its owner's hand. If the gift was promised, instead return target non-land permanent and opponent controls to its owner. If the gift was promised. So, I think I like upside for the fish. Gift a card, counter target spell. If the gift was promised, no, that's gift a card. Gift a tapped fish. Draw 2. If the gift was promised, seek 2 non-land cards instead. Here. I hope you like frozen cod. Okay. Wait, hold on. What? Full resources? We gift and fish? I think we are. I think we are. Like, so we want to play more rafts to help us survive early game and get a chance to set up Hilda. Which means that gifting fish would actually just be like one of the better things to do. If the gift was promised, tap. Archival Whirl! You can gift a Ristic Study. I don't... No! No, 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 no. That's silly. Let's see. Gift a card. Yeah, I don't think we want to, like, gift a card. We just want to gift a fish. And there isn't, like, a lot of fish to gift. The gift was promised. The target creature also gains indestructible. Yeah, I'm willing to try Mind Spiral if it means being able to give them a target for fish. When Starforged Sword enters, the gift was promised, attach it to a creature you control. No, okay, maybe not that. I'm not willing to go that hard. So we Wrath, and then we fish. Mind Spiral is draw 3, give them a fish, stun a counter. That could be important. I am willing to do it for Starfall Invocation. Parting Guest as another exile effect. Into the Flood. Alright, I'm going to take a quick... There's that counterspell that makes the Manifest Dread. True. That's the enchantment creature. So, like... Making the opponent Manifest Dread, that's an interesting choice. Did we have... I don't think we have anything. Each opponent... At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Manifest Dread. This is a card that I want for DC. Unwanted Remake, right? Destroy target creatures control Manifest Dread. Yeah, it's controlling Manifest Dread. You're right. You're right. Let's just get some... In that case, the Identified Hovership is actually really good for us. When you Manifest Dread, any creature doesn't untap. It's just owns library and manifest dread. Breaker does it for you. Fear of imposters. I'm not sure how I feel about this because it's basically a cancel, but then it's also a creature that we can use to like beat down. That could be worth it. Counter target spell. It's kind of like this, except the other way around, right? Partner does on hand. We manifest dread. We manifest dread. We manifest. We manifest. I'll put it under consideration. I don't think it's good enough to make the cut. I guess if we want to have room for like all the wraths and stuff we're adding. I'm gonna take a quick break just to use the washroom, and then we'll be back, and we'll figure out some cuts to hopefully bolster this deck. Don't touch that dial. Creatures we have in here, we've only got Burning Rune Demon and Emia. I'm probably gonna exile card. Oh, they got the 7, so they can play their Sinner's Judgment. Then they are through more counters. Wow. Okay. Bit of a miscalculation on my part. Bit of a very strong miscalculation on my part. Yeah, that's really all we can do. Damn. This card is obnoxious, especially when you're in mono black. I don't have too many answers for it either. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think they really care what they take. Let's see. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. Yeah, we're just gonna go for broke. Let's see. Roof X counts from talking about X is the mana value of the exiled card. I mean, that technically works. But at that point, that's just going to be delaying the inevitable. We need like a hard answer. Villas would be a great hard to have, but it's like theoretically all we have to do is kill them before we get that third counter. There we go. That's what we want. Yep. No! Massive misplay! Oh, I forgot about the stupid mill. Alright, and we're back. Alright, so let's think about this for a second. Elspeth is cool in that, you know, she doesn't blow Hilda out of the water. So we got that going for us. Alright, we're also missing a lot of the really good control icons, right? We're missing dig through time, instant speed ways that just like refill rather than just relying on Hilda, as we kind of saw with the Proft deck. Got a couple of cards I don't think quite work out. I think the Frost Titan is still good. Or rather, I like the Frost Titan is a repeatable version of tapping. It does lock stuff down. Let's see if we can just make Hilda the main win condition. Freezing tapping isn't quite as synergistic as what you would normally think. Because like then it's frozen, it doesn't untap, you don't get a chance to like tap it down again, something like that. something like Elspeth's Starfall Invocation 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I actually call it like a. I don't really like. Or how many lands are we running? 37. Let's see. Show me land spells. Ambush. Ambush is an option. We got ambushed by the ambush last time. You can run in a Marius Call. I probably should just like have the extra lands. And also it's a card that we can pitch the Solitude, so there's upside there. Verity Circle goes hard. Give me just like 1 sec. I had like a specific thing I want to grab. Sink into Stupor. There we go. Brony, man, you are like the master of figuring out ways to, of thinking of cards that I've just completely forgotten about. Whenever a creature becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you can draw a card. God, wild cards. Wild cards. It's always the wild cards. I'll definitely have like a bunch of maybe not a bunch of wild cards, but I'll have 2 or 3 that I can use. Yeah, the Verity Circle does go hard. Unfort. It's always the wild cards, isn't it? Always and forever. I'm trying to use this season specifically to finish grabbing some niche wild card stuff that I was missing. I need I want some more cards for all creatures to Dizzy. I want some cards so I can finish playing Ral Storm. And now Hilda needs a very specific card. You're down to your last couple of rares too. Aw. Condolences. Shirai draws cards whenever we tap 1 or more untapped creatures they control. But she also might be just too slow. I think we want more like just actual pure draw rather than like gimmick draw. I think Gadwick is still good. In fact, he kind of makes those anticipates and whatnot better. But it's also entirely possible that he doesn't have flash. I would love to be able to actually use the gimmick, but that also requires casting spells like counter magic. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh god, we are severely lacking. I still think we play Law Rune Enforcer, Giant Killer, and Elite Arrestor, because these are also very good walls to help keep aggro off of our backs. Sea Guard Approach is one of those cards that I think has really good double value. In fact, I think Brony Man, I think you suggested this when we were brewing the deck originally. It's good protection. It doubles as tapping down, but I think with the change in our game plan, we're gonna cut some of those types of cards away. Rely more on cards like Toppelgeist that can repeatedly tap stuff. I want to make the Boopgeist good. So like maybe that's a reason to play Fear of Imposters, because it's an enchantment creature. Draw 3. This is a sorcery. I don't think that cuts the mustard. Pull the resources being an instant is huge. Parting Gust also. Exile non-token creature. If the gift wasn't promised, return it to the battlefield. So this kind of does what you see a guard coming. It's expensive, but doubling as removal can help. Plus, it gifts the fish. Into the Flood Maw, also being an instant for tempo. Unwanted Remake. Unwanted Remake only hits creatures, but so does like Swords and Path. Let's go ahead and actually hold on. Let's tally this up, shall we? How do we want to do this? Let's go ahead and pull out like all our removal. Put all the removal aside. River Big is not removal. Eternal Wanderer is. Elspeth and Farewell are removal. The fairies are not removal. Wandering Emperor is removal. Day of Judgment is removal. Put in Wrath of God already, right? Where's my Wrath of God? Here it is. We also just might need some more mana rocks. Like, we can afford to get the Guardian as well as the Solar Transformer. That's not irrelevant. Let's see. Make a separate category for our counter magic. Unavailable screen is removal. Let's see. This is tempo, not removal. And then we'll have a we're actually gonna put the counter spells in the same category as our protection. Like Flare, pretty good. Sink Into the Stupor. I've been really high up on Sink Into the Stupor because it can come into play as an untapped land. Skrelf, Selfless Savior, Path, Giver. Giant Killer is actually removal, believe it or not. Want to remake, that's also removal. We have plenty of removal. The Psych Rift, Parting Gust, Flowering of the Tree, Selfless Spirit, Get Lost. Wow, look at all this removal. I bet we could cut some of this for, draw. Would Strix Serenade Swan Song be good? It might be. It might be, actually. Because both of those make birds, right? Yeah. Yeah, there we go, That's thinking with portals. Let's see. Let's put our tappies here. Let's see, Dolan's Veto. Yeah, if we can just, like, find some ways to smooth out the draw, we'll be pretty pog. Narcolepsy's pretty great for that. Palantir. I do like an orb. And after all, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I have an orb? Let's see, this is more tappy tap. See, this is like going into the draw space, right? Yeah. Let's see, Teferi, Jace. Start putting like some of our draw effects over here, I think. Six Study, do a draw. Dream Shackle Geist. Dream Shackle Geist is actually okay. Pull resources, also draws. Midnight Clock goes into ramp. Snappy is air. Icespine Pillar. As foretold. Hovership is yet more removal. Temporary Lockdown is probably going to be the MVP here. Split Up also. Skyclave Apparition. Yeah, we had no trouble getting removal. As Foretold I'd like, and Maria's Call we can just hold on to as a late game finisher. Slash land. Like these are kind of the miscellaneous cards. Swain Song! Go ahead. We can probably even cut an offer you can't refuse, specifically for Swan Song and Strix Serenade. Rocking that Hades music, yo. So River's Rebuke and Psych Rift are plenty good. I don't think we need to play Passive Tween Veil with Into the Flood. We have a lot of removal that might actually be worth cutting back on. We got Rain, Clock, Stone, Cold Steel Heart, Signet. Yeah, let's go ahead and get like more rocks. Let's get more 2 rocks here. Let's see. Which 2 rocks do we want specifically? We can also get the enchantment that puts up a wall. I would not mind that. It grabs a basic land. It helps us hit land drops. But these first. Be these first. Defense grid is good. We could in a world where we use Howling Mine, and like we combine it with another tappy artifact thing, aka we're just playing Derevi. Mirror of Galadriel. Bro, why shouldn't I? Like what? We're just missing Solar and Guardian? Why not just type that in? Oh, hold on. There it is. There's also Iron Crag, Solar. I can never spell Guardian. Ever. Curse. Where did you go? Oh, you're already here. Excellent. Like, just more 2 rocks to help accelerate us. Pretty good. Celestis would also be an option here. Celestis can actually dig through a lot of dead lands. The life gain is not insignificant. So, like, I feel like that is an appropriate amount of rocks. So we would have to cut like 11 cards, and then potentially we could put in... I'm gonna go ahead and put these over here. That way we have room to sort these out between like actual factual counter magic and just ways to protect the queen. I would like to protect the queen. I don't think we need Selfless Spirit. Because we just need... If we just protect Hilda, then we're fine. Swan Song, Serenade, good. Spell Pierce, good. I kind of want to miscast. Dovin's Veto, fine. Fear of Imposters and Sink to the Stupor, we'll try those out. But that's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 counter spells as is. We are like really deep on removal, so like pull those away into wraths and non-wraths. We could probably make a case for cutting out the Doomscar now, at least. Although the Doomscar being able to foretell is actually really useful, so maybe not. Like, that gets around a lot of the Thoughtseize effects that would just destroy us. Split up. Lockdown is a small wrath. Wolf of Moon, Parting Gust, Get Lost Faithful, Unable to Scrim. Unwanted Remake Swords, Path, Giant Killer. Unable to Scream brings up an interesting point. We could actually try playing some of the enchantment removal. So that way we also just have like more creatures that we can tap for value. They're primarily blue, right? Yeah. Like, we could put in a Witness Protection. I wish Arena would not do that. Weakstone Subjugation is interesting because you can pay the 3 to tap the enchanted permanent. And the enchanted permanent just doesn't untap. But we actually want things that we can tap and retap. Unable to Scream is just an auto-include in any blue deck. Honestly, I kind of think so. It just neutralizes commanders too well. Tap enchanted creature doesn't tap during its controls on tap step. Let's put into the graveyard. You can pay 1 to scry 1, then draw. That's pretty cute. Scrim. There's also Unwant, Eaten by Piranhas. And then what's the third one that I'm thinking of? Not like the frogs, but I like Stasis Field. And Utter insignificance. Utter insignificance having flash is probably pretty big. But here's the crux of the matter, right? The crux of the matter is that we put all of our resources into enchanting creatures and then we blow them up. But we want to blow up all the creatures first and then lock down a single creature. So that's actually okay. Like, we get rid of the unwanted remake and we just rely on Endless Scream, Witness Protection. And if that's going to be the case, we can cut Fear of Imposters too. Utter Insignificance is so good. For that matter, Parting Gust probably no longer makes sense. It is protection for Hilda and also emergency removal that gifts the fish. So I would like to see that work out. Conquer's Death is probably just too slow because we need cheap, efficient removal rather than like value removal. All of our value comes from playing a billion rafts, apparently. Like, this is an excessive amount of rafts, right? Well, the interlopers, we can actually save Hilda's the idea with that. Doomscar. Probably cut like a Day of Judgment. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's a good amount of removal. That's like a fair amount. It's a lot of things. Although we don't really hit... Okay, so pull the Mist Moon, Skyclave Apparition. Hovership only hits creatures, but then it manifests. I don't think that's what we want to be doing, though. Most of our stuff hits creatures, except for pull the Mist Moon. We probably want some removal that hits more generalized stuff, like a the one with Ward 3 mana one. Can't think of what that is at this this second. But Apparition should be fine. Wandering Emperor, being able to exile tapped creatures is synergistic. If Hilda had 2 powered, we'd be really good with Glyph Bridge. That's true. Yeah, and I've done that. I've done that with a Layla. Let's see. We could actually cut out the Emperor. Because I want to be able to include more draw than I think anything else. Hilda's like a really good version of draw herself. Let's see. This is pay 3 sack. Draw a card for each tapped creature your opponent controls. Ironically, I don't know if this ability costs 1 less to activate during your turn. That's really good with what we want to do with the enchantments, because then they can't block. There's a Dream Shackle Geist. Tap. Target creature doesn't untap. Like, that's just free activation. We have Icebind Pillar, tap artifacts and creatures. Narcolepsy to continuously retap stuff. Pacification Array, Boopgeist, Enforcer, and Arrestor. These are actually the same guy. He's actually been moodlighting. He's been collecting 2 paychecks for at least 3 sets. He figured out a loophole that allowed him to apply under another name, an alias, if you will. We still need to cut 8 cards. Just to, like, get the deck playing again. Is it worth cutting a Snappy? This might be the part where we just start, like, cutting, like, from a pile each. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And be like... We just have to make a cuts. We have to make cuts. We have to, admit that things are not as pertinent as what we would enjoy them to be. So one reason takes blue mana. You gotta know the loophole. Exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah. Cut the Parting Gust here. Cut one more Wrath. I guess. I like Elspeth as an alternative win condition. Scar. If we want to rip it off the top, it's not. That's good, I guess. Green Counterspell. Tails End. Negate. Washed Away. Swollen Sun Incinerate. Spell Pierce. Got the Spell Pierce, I guess. Boots. Flare. Maybe Flowering. Cut one of our Tappy Tappers. Icy Manipulator taps an artifact, creature, or artifact or land, but is like 4 mana to set up. But also taps down lands. Cut one of our rocks, probably the Crag, just because the Crag is going to have like obnoxious re-triggers every single turn. You missed the Tane mechanic. Me too! Me too! I missed the Tane! Then we gotta cut like one card out of here. Want to hold on to Traveler. It might be Mind Sculptor. Alright. Double check the deck. And then the curve works out like this. Really early stuff with some top end to help us ride through this wave. Might be able to finish a whole game before we wrap up the stream. I wasn't expecting to be able to, like, go the full distance today. I wasn't expecting to go the full 3 hours. But then, like, we just got lost in the sauce. The Mind Skinner. Can't be blocked if a source you control will deal damage to an opponent. They mill that many instead. There's a hate fatty tag on Scryfall. What? What? That's kind of fucked up. No. Am I willing to? This has like plenty of answers, right? Get down to 6. Oh god. Hold on to Elspeth. Probably drop the clock. Cold Steel Heart turn 2. There's a land. Clock helps us get back. We keep the 6 for sure. Narcolepsy. You have to hold on to that. If we get rid of the Elspeth, then our hand no longer has anything to like really build towards, except for just plain Hilda. We keep Elspeth. We're kind of at the mercy of like this is 3 lands plus 2 artifacts. We would have to probably put back the Narcolepsy. Okay, am I willing to? The Narcolepsy can help slow them down. Elspeth is an actual win condition. I'm gonna put back the Narcolepsy and trust that that Hilda on her own with the Narcolepsy can get us there. We had the Archive Surveil. That just happened. Temporary lockdown. I'll leave that on top. If they try and go like super aggro with a lot of ramp decks, I could see that being a cool card to drop. I'm gonna go ahead and pay 3 life. We're gonna attempt to play the Cold Steel Heart. They might counter that. No, they don't. That's great for me. Let's go white. Sonny, you just got home from playing Magic! Your first time playing IRL and you won? Hey, with a pre-con no less. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Good job, good job. Alright, so this is 3, right? I could go Midnight Clock. Let's go ahead and just play the Apparition and get rid of the Mind Skinner. And then we'll drop the Farmland. Okay, the opponent very wisely decided to put their commander back in the command zone. Very good, very good, very good. Alright, now they can cast the Secret Keeper. Secret Keeper can block. Misty Rainforest. I want to play the Clock. I want to play the Misty Rainforest, so that way, in case they try to spell pierce, we can pay for it. Otherwise, they just have to play a hard counter spell for this. Repulse. Sure. You do not get anything because the creature does not exist. And since they're tapped out, I'm going to go ahead and use this as an opportunity to grab another tap land. Although I guess I could have Narcolepsy the Secret Keeper. You got the Buckle Up Neon Dynasty Precon? Oh, I love that one. Shorkai's a great commander. Repulsing the Skyclave Apparition. Right? Alright, so we just go ahead and play that. They've got 5 cards in hand. So we can't really play Hilda. I'm kind of fine just like chilling as is, right? Because we got the clock ticking up now. And then if they end their turn, we can just click the clock up faster. There's no reason for me to replay the apparition. Tale of Tamio, mill 2, and that's like the first 3 chapters. Exile any number of instant, sorcery, and or Tamio planeswalker cards from your graveyard. Copy them. Cast any number of the copies. Okay. So it's just going to fill up their graveyard. They didn't match. We do have to actually like play around stuff, so I kind of need take a redraw on this. Mindstone. Like seeing Mindstone here. Now we can play the Mindstone. We can attempt to cast Apparition. They probably counter this, right? No, okay. Well, now they can actually get a token off of it. The Uptown just seems really bad. I mean, it is. I like the idea of, oh, Phantasmal Image, huh? Copy of any creature on the battlefield except it's an illusion. So I will Faithful Absence my own Apparition, and they can make a 3/3 token. And then I could play Temporary Lockdown. That gets rid of 2 of my tokens. But then also just like wipes their board. I could also just like start jamming Hilda. Let's crack the clue first. Crack the clue, draw. Attempt to play Lockdown. If they counter this, now jam Hilda. Gets me back like 2 artifacts. Yeah, they're gonna mana drain. Can't stop that. If they have like a mind control, I'm really sad. That mana drain helps them replay their commander. If they have like a Bolas's Touch, that's really sad. Like a Narcolepsy. The illusion's gonna like disappear as soon as it becomes a target. So I probably just do this token. Return each non-token permanent to its owner's hand. Alright, well, that's one way to do it. Alright, there's Enduring Curiosity, so they do get to draw, like, a card. That's not irrelevant. Alright, how do we want to do this? We want to redeploy as many things as possible, so... Mindstone, Midnight Clock, Hilda. That gets us our mana back. The Narcolepsy starts going off next turn. Phantasmal Image, they can copy Hilda. But then we can target. Is Enduring Curiosity a nombo with our commander? It is. They don't get to draw cards off of it, I think. Because this is damage to a player. Oh, she's gone. I can't believe we're getting beaten by a rug. Playing Iganjo is... I don't think I'm allowed to just, like, not play Hilda. I am mistaken. Yeah. We didn't have the counter magic to fight over here, unfortunately, so we're going to take 7 here. I can drop Narcolepsy, at least. That way we don't take massive amounts of damage. I want to hold on Iganjo. She's going to cost 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're kind of just going to get buried. Because I can keep trying to play Hilda. But I don't think I put in a Cavern of Souls. Double Enduring Curiosity is brutal. We need to hit one of those rafts, but then they're drawing 2 cards a turn still. Yeah. Fear of Isolation, return that, get rid of the Narcolepsy. Yeah, we kind of just got run over by someone who just played creatures and held counter magic. So that is, like, not a good sign. Granted, we had to mulligan down a card, but even then. Like, I want counter magic to be able to fight. I want to have more ways to protect Hilda. I want ways to be able to fight through. I'm not playing Cavern of Souls. I'm not. Go lands. Grab a couple of the man lands. Grab Frost Dragon, Giants, Bird. Cut out some of the lands that do not play correctly. Farmland. Even the fetchables. Glacial Fortresses. Lurch comes into play on tap. Blood Verge is fine. Then basic. We could put in like the Surveil enchantments so that way we can start grabbing additional cards there. I think part of that is just bad RNG. But I would like to cut out like Harry Call. It's just like have more draw. Maybe even get in a dig through time. Actually, hold on. What do we have in terms of cards? What tech do we get to play with here? Depose, tap and draw. Gain 2, draw 2, discard 2. Hindering Light, counter target spell that targets a permanent you or a permanent you control to draw. Ojutai's Command, which I don't get to have yet. Spoils of War, no. Powers, it's a mythic. Sphinx's Reb. Unfortunately, this is not Ace. I think I had to play something that's like a little cheaper. So like, let's go ahead and grab just literally anticipate. Spell anticipate correctly. No. Oh, look at 4. Impulse. There we go. That's the money card. We could play like a compounding riddle with the top 4. Yeah, right. Yeah, we could consider it. Sink into the stupor for the land. Like, we were... needed filtering, right? Just need, like, not die to stuff? Is there a Seek non-land card you're not running? Oh yeah, there absolutely is. The Ocean's Bounty. Ocean's Bounty is a good one. Is Seek Knowledge an instant? It might be. Honestly, we're gonna probably revisit this deck next week too. Like, we're not done with this deck, and I'm gonna continue doing just handing out and trying deck stuff. Having Impulse early game is great. Opponent goes first, so... you can go Command Tower, Island, Crossroads, name on white, keep 7. Apparition to make sure we can deal with Kona. Probably gonna need. But if they drop like a... Faithful Absence. Cute. Cavern of Souls. Okay, so like they can drop Kona if they have any way to tap it down, like with a an enlist card, drums, whatever. Bad for us. I can play Skyclave Apparition next turn, get a creature on the board. So I'm gonna Impulse now. Negate to Fairy. To Fairy's actually pretty good. I don't think Negate helps us as much. Floodplains, make sure we at least have another land coming up. I'll grab to Fairy. Kona's actually like really weird for this, yeah. Because Long Rune of... because, like, this thing wants to be tapped on their turn. Starfall Invocation means that we have something to build to. There's the Arid Mesa I want. Go ahead and... oh, God. The problem is that they are almost definitely playing... they're playing Mono Green, so they could play Winter Orb. They could just, like, get us that way. You have double white. Let's go ahead and get a basic. Let's go ahead and play Teferi. Let's go ahead and tap. Tap with one artifact, submit 0, 1 creature, 1 land. Then we can play the Law Rune Enforcer too. Oh, and that's enough for them. Woohoo! Okay. I would love it if like more of our matches went that way. Having a Teferi out is pretty good. You raise a good point though, Brony man. See, this is part of... but opponent, I thought you liked your creature stepped. So true, bestie. So true. Okay. So let's go instant speed seek. What do we have that seeks? Sune's intervention. Seek new knowledge. There we go. Seek new knowledge. Seek 2 non-lands. Then put a card from your hand at the bottom of your library. Why am I not running Brainstorm? We're already running pool resources, which is great. Kindred denials a counterspell. Discover the formula is actually pretty goated. Like, just, like, amazingly goated. But we're already fighting for space right now. So, let's grab Brainstorm real quick. See if we can figure out, like, 2 quick cuts before we call it a day. Why am I just not slapping Brainstorm into everything? I don't know. I don't understand. I definitely think the deck is in a much better position than where we were before. But that's partially because where we were before was actually really bad. Like, the deck was just gonna struggle if we went with all the gimmick builds that we had before. Let's see, Apparition, still play split up, temporary lockdown, foretold, pillar, clock, heuristic study, shackle. I think it is super. I think it's still running. Solitary defiance. Ooh, one of the alchemy cards. As long as you control exactly one creature, that creature has vigilance in War 2. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, seek 2 non-land cards, then discard a card. Oh, yeah, that would do it. That would do it. Whenever a creature attacks alone. Actually, hold on. What else do we have in here? Like, there's... Ancestral Katana only does it if you have a Samurai or Warrior. Template Samurai is not what you want. Norika, nope. Angelic Exaltation doesn't work that way. It's just Defiance. If you have Bilbo's Ring, it can't be blocked. Whenever an equipped creature attacks alone, you draw a card and lose a life. That's really expensive. Whenever a creature attacks alone, plus X into a turn, where X is the number of card types. Okay, so like these are the 2 cards I would probably run outside of Defiance in Geist, and they're all super expensive, so they're not practical. But Solitary Defiance, that's like, yeah, that's just like a free non-land card. And you don't, and sometimes you even like hold on to them because you drew a land. Honestly, that's pretty great. I like that. That's goated. 2 cards to cast. I want to hold on to the Anticipate as well as the Seek New Knowledge. Seek New Knowledge, I think, smooths this out a lot. So then, what are we grabbing? Maybe Flare of Fortitude, I think. Even though it is a free cast, unfortunately, if we play this the way we want, we're not really going to have non-creature things to sack besides Hilda. I think we do hold on to Solitude. I'm tempted to cut the Elspeth, although Elspeth is actually a fantastic stabilizing force if she manages to get down. Like, they just don't do anything. Orb is how we win against control decks. Or at least makes control decks a lot easier. The As Foretold takes a while to get going, but solves a lot of issues once it does. But maybe maybe because of the time it gets set up versus the super aggressive decks we keep running into. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll call it there. I need to go ahead and retool the soldier deck, and then since Alchemy is coming out tomorrow, we'll be able to get some more bird stuff. I need to like make just a list of all the stuff that I want. Like, I'm missing storm cards. I'm missing literally the 1 or 2 cards I want for Hilda. Missing like the enchantment stuff. Missing stuff from Dustmourn too. If we take a look at the Dustmourn collection that I have, I'm still missing like more than a few cards, and that feels pretty bad. Like, I don't have Kaido yet. Restricted Office and Lecture Hall, the big target I want. Winter has actually been a pretty strong mid-range card. Roaring Furnace deals damage equal to the number of cards in your hand to target creature to controls. That's pretty cool. I don't have Kona. I saw Kona, and I knew that Kona would be the next big green commander. Because I was like, oh, you just put Eldrazi into play for cheap. Okay, sure, yeah. Scryfall still hasn't updated with the Dustmourn Alchemy cards, probably because they're waiting for the official release. Come Back Wrong. I think I already have a Leyline of Void. I'm not sure there. Enduring Innocence being another white card. So, like, I don't want to craft the Dustmourn cards because I want to try and, like, get the other cards that are other niche. But at the same time, I know that if I miss out on trying to get some of these, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a hot second. Bleh. But that's capitalism for you. Thank you, Hasbro. Anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this up. I don't think we have any immediate plans for Friday. I'll get back to you on that. You'll see a stream set up if you do. But we'll be back next Monday, and we'll probably be working on more deck concepts, more strats that we're not really used to. And we'll see you next time. Same hero time, same hero channel. Night, everyone.